Hello, Steve Mills here, the Prudent Marketer. Welcome to this week's association of Prudent Marketing email and indeed video. So thank you ever so much for listening. This week I want to start with a question for you. How did you do in the last quarter? How did you do in the last quarter? You know, it's very important to measure and know how well we've done. You know, did you make the turnover that you were looking for? Did you make the profit on that turnover? Because if you didn't, when it all comes down to it, there are only two reasons for that. One is you didn't sell enough, and the other is that you spent too much. Now, you may be thinking, you know, Steve, that's pretty obvious, and, I know that already. But the truth is, we don't always do anything with what we already know. You know, you may know that you didn't really make the profit that you would like, but the question I've got for you, really, the deep down question, is what did you do about it? You know, one of the quickest and easiest ways of increasing profit is to reduce costs. Now, there's a problem with that because you can only reduce them so much. You know, not 10% here, maybe you can get rid of 20% of your costs. But you can't get rid of everything, and even if you did, there's still only so much profit in your business. So the other key, obviously, is to increase sales. But you might want to start by why don't you just go and have a look at where your costs are right now? What are you spending money on? If you could spend, you know, a little bit less on this and a little bit less on that, if you could stop spending some more money on something else, then, you know, that could help you to become more profitable. And who knows? Perhaps you could take that, you know, £2,000 a month or £20,000 a month if you're a bigger business, and put that into your marketing, you know, and go and invest that in something that's going to give you that return on investment. Because that, for me, is a really important factor. Now, what I'd like to talk to you about, the main thing today, is something that I did with somebody the other day. And this was an exercise that I did with a guy called Jake Pierce. Now, Jake's a really switched on guy, a really good guy. And he asked me a very intriguing question. He said, Steve, he said, what is your brand word? I said, brand word? What do you mean? What do you mean by brand word? He said, what does your brand stand for? And I said, well, I don't really know. It's all about being more prudent with your marketing. It's about not wasting money on marketing. It's about getting the best out of your marketing. And he said, no, I don't mean that. I mean, what are the real deep down values that you hold within your business and for your brand? And you know, really, I was struggling to come up with an answer, but I came up with 4 words that I really wanted to really thought was the real deep down analysis of what I do. I'm going to tell you my words just by way of giving you an example of what you might think about doing. So I said, well, number 1 is the word focused. You know, you've got to be focused. You know, background in sport, you know, international sportsman, that's my background. And, you know, in sport, you've got to be focused. You've got to focus. You know, one of the biggest problems I have is people don't focus on their marketing. They do it when they've got a bit of time. You know, they focus operationally doing the work, delivery. They spend virtually no time on finance, often even less on marketing, and they just get themselves a job and not a business to run. So focused, being focused on marketing. Number 2, I put down as enthusiastic. You know, you probably gather from these videos, I really hope you do, that I am really enthusiastic. I love doing what I do. If I won the lottery next week, I would carry on. I'd be here next week doing the next association video. And I really hope you believe that, because it's absolutely true. So, you know, being enthusiastic. Number 3 is a pretty obvious one for me. It's measured. You know, you cannot manage what you do not measure. You know, and if you're, you know, not measuring, then, you know, just start measuring. I can't stress it enough. You know, you've got to measure your marketing. You might not get it always right. People say, well, I found your details on the website. The truth is, they met you at an exhibition, you emailed them, they went to your website, they phoned up and they said, oh, I found you on your website. The truth is, all those three factors contributed to that lead. But, we've got to put it somewhere. And, whatever the customer says or whatever you think is where that should be allocated, that particular lead. Number 4, again, sort of links very much into, I suppose, enthusiastic, but it's passionate. I'm really passionate about my business. I'm really passionate, I think even more so, about helping small businesses. I've been a small business myself for over 20 years, and I do know how difficult it is. I really do. I've had ups and I've had downs and sometimes in between. But I know that probably in the next 10 or let's hope 20 years, not sure it'll be 20 years for me, guys, because I'm getting on a little bit now, but in the next 10, 20 years, I'll probably have ups and downs as well. I'm hoping that those ups are going to be higher and the downs are going to be lower, but that's what I'm working towards. But I'm definitely passionate about it. So I came up with a very weird word, and it is FEMP. Okay, FEMP is my brand word. Now, obviously, that's a bit of a nonsense word. But what I've done, and my point being in talking to you about this, is I've taken that word FEMP and looked at each and every page of my website and said, is this page FEMPed? So, in other words, are the words in there? Are they focused, enthusiastic, measured, passionate? Is that coming over in those words on my website? Does that come over in my videos that I use for the association or my other videos? Does that come over when I stand up in front of a conference of 500 people? Am I coming over as focused, enthusiastic, measured, and passionate in what I do? So it's almost like my brand, Steve Mills's brand, as well as the Prudent Marketer's brand. And I just thought I'd bring that to you. Think about what is your word or words. What is your? It's almost like brand guidelines, but I think it's a little bit bigger and arguably more important than that. It's not about we have orange and black and grey. If we change to green and blue and purple, I don't think that's going to make. Actually, that's a horrible colour, but you understand my meaning. What I'm talking about here is, what do you stand for? What are your in a way, your ethos? The important thing that you want your messaging to come across. If my family was much more of a family business, it was much more family orientated and all about quality of life, then my enthusiastic, passionate, measured, focused approach might not quite be right for that. It's a bit too driven for that type of business. So I hope you get my meaning here. I know this is a little bit of a different video to my normal one, but nonetheless, I think just as important as any video that I've done for you. So your task this week is to go and come up with, 2, 3, 4 words that really describe the core being that is you and or your business, and maybe get your team involved in this as well for your business. Come up with those words, turn it into a simple word like FEMP or whatever that is, and then you can start talking to your team about does this web page, does this email have FEMP? They'll probably think you've gone mad, but what the heck. So that's about it for this week. Thank you ever so much for listening. I look forward to speaking to you again next week. And as ever, take action and you'll get results. Thank you very much for listening.